Ever wondered why some players always seems to carry their teams no matter what role they are playing? Whether it be Mage, Marksman or anything, they just simply do them. Wanna be them? Sure, your sensei will make you into them. Hi guys, Kazuki here, and in this video I am going to share with you all the info you need to dominate every role. But before that, do note that there can be many types of heroes in each role depending on the meta. We will be specifically talking about the role and not the heroes. For example, we can have Marksman or a burst mage hero in the gold lane, and these things keep changing with the meta. So with that in mind, let's start with the most hyped role in the game, the jungler. The jungler is one of the most important roles in the game, and dominating as a jungler is different. It's not about getting kills, but about securing objectives and controlling the map from the jungle. Jungler's always been the key role that leads to victory as they travel through the largest area on the map, so always choose your path wisely. 50% of your game will involve ganking from different places. Having great map awareness is very important for a jungler. And being a jungler means you should always know how to choose your targets. You will not have enough damage to kill the tank, and killing the fighter is not really that valuable. So whenever you choose your targets, always prioritize the marksman. If you can't take down the MM, then target the mage. If you can't find anyone, only then go for the fighter. Just follow this step properly and you will be able to win most of the games. Okay. Another important thing you have to look out for as a jungler is trading. What do I mean by trading? It is when you know you are going to lose something and take something from the enemy. Let's take an example. You are behind in levels and the turtle is up. You know the enemies are already taking it. What do? The odds of you winning the retribution battle are less because the enemy has a higher level retribution than you. They have the gold and experience lead, which means taking the turtle will be suicide. When you are in such situations, always know that you have to make a trade to stop giving your enemies the advantage. What you have to do now is gank the gold laner and kill him or her. If you can't seem to get a hold of the gold laner, just take the enemy buff. It's not that big and it won't be a big trade. But you won't be too far behind. They might not look like much, but they add up. Here you are making a trade, which means that even though the enemies took the turtle, you haven't really given them the advantage. Master map awareness and trading and you will be winning all the games you play. Next, let's check another core role in the game, the mage or mid laner. The mage is a very hard role to master, and it is a role that is easy to be good at, which means that all you have to do is just watch the video and apply it. You will master the role with time. Why is it one of the harder roles? Well, it's simple really. You are playing two roles in one. You are playing the role of support while providing the damage of a gold laner. You are playing the role of support because you have to constantly rotate and bring important crowd control and turns game around. To be the best mage, your rotation should be on point. And the mage has so many heroes who specialize in different things, which means this role is going to change along with the hero you pick. To dominate your role, remember these things. To gain the upper hand in the mid lane, you need to push the other mid laner back. Use your skills to pressure them. For example, if you are playing as Zaz, you can use your summon to keep your enemy at bay because it's so annoying to deal with, and it deals so much damage that your opposite laner will be far away. Just like any role, map awareness is key. The mid lane is surrounded by open areas, making it easy to get ganked if you are not careful. Always have an escape plan if you are playing aggressively, and stay behind your tower if you suspect the enemy jungler is heading your way. You can usually tell if the enemy jungler is coming if the other laners are tied and they disappear off the map towards you. Mages are fragile, so unless you are using someone with a good escape like Valir and Kagura, it's best to retreat. Think of the jungler and the mage as another set of best friends like the tank and marksman.
But we're friends though.
You can watch this video out to know the best couples in Mlbb. Anyway, back again, the mage protects the jungler early on and the jungler can help kill the enemy mid laner. And they can roam together to other lanes. Good synergy with your jungler is crucial. As a mage, your damage scales well throughout the game and most mages have good crowd control, helping your lanes and junglers secure kills. Finally, positioning is vital. In the early game, when contesting mid, remember the enemy mid laner will try to outpoke you too. Position yourself to make it hard for them to damage you without overextending and risking a gank. This could mean maneuvering around minions to let them take the damage for you or waiting until the enemy's skill are on cooldown before using yours. The goal is to deal damage while taking minimal damage yourself. Knowing your opponent's skills and their range will help you lane more effectively. Now let's move on to the next role, the Marksman. The Marksman is typically the main source of damage for your team, usually playing MM or other high damage heroes. Your main goal in the gold laner is to farm efficiently and deal as much damage as possible during team fights. In the early game, focus on last hitting minions to get the most gold. Use your range advantage to poke and harass the enemy laner, but be mindful of the enemy jungler. Wards are crucial in this role to avoid getting ganked. Positioning is key for a gold laner. In team fights, always stay at the backline and let your tank and fighter absorb the damage. Your job is to deal consistent damage without getting caught, keep an eye on enemy assassins and be ready to reposition if they dive onto you. Map awareness is also vital. Keep an eye on the minimap and be ready to rotate if your team needs you. If your team is fighting for the turtle on your side, push your lane quickly and join the fight. This way you can help your team secure objectives while also applying pressure on the map. And never forget Wind of Nature if you're a physical marksman. In the late game, you are the difference between winning and losing. You need one survival item at least, so never forget Wind of Nature. Let's talk about the EXP laner or fighter. The EXP laner, often a fighter, is responsible for holding the solo lane and providing a strong front line for the team. Your main goal is to sustain in the lane, farm up and be tanky presence in the team fights. In the early game, focus on last hitting minions and trading effectively with the enemy laner. Use your skills to poke and harass them. But be cautious of overextending. The enemy jungler might try to gank you, so always keep an eye on the minimap and communicate with your team. As a fighter, you need to balance between dealing damage and tanking for your team. Build items that provide both survivability and damage. In team fights, your job is to dive onto the enemy backline and disrupt their damage dealers. Map awareness is crucial. Rotate to help your team when necessary, especially during objective fights. The turtle always spawn in the EXP lane first, which means you should be ready for the turtle fights.
Okay.
And also cut the lanes whenever possible. Don't be sitting duck in your lane, cut the lane and you can freely roam the map, helping other lanes. Remember, the EXP laner often acts as a secondary tank. You need to soak up damage for your team and provide crowd control to help secure kills. Communication with your team is a key to coordinating effectively engagements and disengagement. Time to check out the last role, which I think is the most important role in the game, the roamer. There are many different types of roamers, but today let's just discuss the most popular ones, the tank roamer and the support. Playing as a roamer in a solo queue is very hard because team coordination is everything for the role of a roamer. But without that, it is really hard. And solo queue rarely brings players who listen. So how do you dominate as a roamer? Well, you work with what you have and follow the 3 golden rules. Rule number 1. Establish map control in the early game. Even though you might not get the MVP medal for doing so, you will still be the true MVP. How do you establish map control? It's simple really. Just push them into their place, the sides of the map, and make it so that they fear taking steps in other lanes. Rule number 2. Be the risk taker. You are the only hero on your team who is not item dependent, which means you can take risks and not be punished too hard for it. If your gamble ends up positive, your whole team will be able to extract the most amount of profit from it. Rule number 3. Don't be afraid to die. It doesn't matter what your KDA is, it is hard to hear, but being a roamer means your life is the least important. But if you can save others' lives by being on the front line and sacrifice yourself, it should be more than enough. A roamer is a leader in the game. Your goal can make the most of it. There's a lot more stuff that you as a roamer should do, but these are the most important ones. Other things you should be doing include zoning enemies out, checking bushes, gathering information, and giving vision. Do this and you will be the best roamer there is. So guys, what is your favorite role? Will you be using these tips? What tips did I miss out on? Comment down all your answers below. That will be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Keep supporting Kazuki Official.